Yeah, good afternoon. Welcome to yet another wonderful edition of our literature in English class, proudly sponsored by Jason Charity Support Foundation. Last week, we were able to begin the text of one of the recommended African drama, The Lion and the Jewel. Today, we will be rounding it up, and after that, we will try to swiftly pick a poem and read the poem and do an analysis of the poem. Hopefully, we will be able to finish it up. We've covered a lot of ground last week as regards Soyinka's The Lion and the Jewel, and I told you that it's a very simple text. It's a comedy for those who appreciate the beauty in language use. Now, let me quickly run you through some major events in the text, and it wouldn't suffice if you are familiar with the major event without being able to communicate or tell us explicitly the significance of this major event. Like I told you that the play had been structured or partitioned into three. It has been partitioned into three, and there are just two settings in the place, two identifiable places. Let me put it that way. We have the village arena and the Baale's bedroom. Other scenes that took place in the play either happened on the way to what? On the way to the stream, or near the school, or close to the market. The village arena also doubles as the market. Now, as regards the setting partitioned into three, we have the morning, we have the noon, and we have the night. This is the setting based on time in the play. The first one I made mention of is based on physical settings. A market which stands beside the other tree, and a school block, just a school block, Lakunle is part of a school block, which is not shown. Throughout the text, we weren't, there isn't, we only hear sounds of students. There is no action took place in the classroom. So as regards the setting based on time, we have morning, noon, and night. So morning represent pristine innocence and adult existential experience. We can also classify man's existence, our existence in life. We can also partition it into three: morning time or morning phase, noon, and night. So morning is when we are still young, and we are still innocent. When we are still innocent, rather, that is where we can classify morning as. Then noon, we are in our prime. We are in our prime, and night, that is the old age. But unlike that, morning classifies innocence and adult existential experience. In the morning, Lakunle still he has the hope of securing Sidi's hand in marriage. The innocence too also comes with Sidi. She is a bit tarried and confused. She doesn't know what to do whether to agree with someone who is young but is unwilling to pay the bride price, or to go with an old man who is who is on the other hand willing to pay the bride price. Now, in the afternoon, when you come to the afternoon, that is when they mime the tale of a lost traveler, the traveler I told you about, the photographer, the adventure, the discovery, the love, and the drunkenness. And that is when Baroka reconfirmed the flippancy of the first wife, Sadiku. And that was when he devised a means of tricking, of deceiving both Sadiku and Sidi. So by implication, we should know that noon is the buffer zone of the day. So what takes place corresponds to innocence, just like in the morning too. No one notices that there is an impending harm. They actually believe that, oh, the old man had lost his manhood. Thank God, all the village bells are now safe. At least someone who is no longer potent will not have the ambition of taking more young, beautiful girls to join his harem, harem of wives, unknowing to them that he had another plot entirely. And it was also in the afternoon that significantly we got to realize, through the use of a mime, which serves as a flashback and an indicator that Baroka in the past had been corrupt, that he had bribed a surveyor and hindered a kind of a technological advancement in the area of transport, a railway line that was intended to be built in Ilujinle. He had prevented this. Now in the night, to some characters in their own sense, she had decided to go and make a mockery of the Baale. But unfortunately for her, she had been played, and at the end of the day, she lost her virginity to the Baale. So some major events and their significance: in the morning, we can see Lakunle arguing with Sidi arguing with Lakunle rather, and we'll see that all their argument centers on modernity versus tradition. Centers on that, and also the discourse continues, and it was lengthy. The promises of a poor young school teacher, and some innovations, some things he had decided to do. He would make sure that they feed and eat at the same table. He would make sure that he gets a bigger dictionary. He speaks good English. They would she wouldn't need to use the, what's it called, grinding stone. That there would be a machine that would there will be a grinding machine that will do that, and all these promises took place in the morning. And it was in the morning that the girls also came to inform Sidi that the photographer is around, and it was acted through a mime. That was the imaginary camera and the motorbike scene. We can see the comic that took place there, and how Sidi had been informed that our images filled the magazine that the photographer had brought. So the mime informed us that previously to that moment, previously to that time, previously to that morning, a man had visited once, taken pictures, and had promised to come back to Ilujinle with a magazine. And also in the morning, we can see the pantomime scene of the Baruka and Lakunle transportation towards the end of the mime of the imaginary camera and the motorbike scene. The photo I told you was arrested near the stream, beaten and taken to the market square, only for the ballet to understand what was happening, and he freed the man, and he allowed him to take pictures around, and the man was actually celebrated. So there was a confrontation. There was a confrontation there. There was a confrontation there. And when the mime was being acted again, and Lakunle took the role of the photographer, during the course of the mime again, Baruka walked in. Baruka came in, and Baruka challenged them. That's on page 18. That will you say I am Chief Basije, that I have that merely me coming around would put an end to this mine? And they returned back to their roles, and they finished the mime, and Baruka even joined. Baruka joined too, meaning that in that mime, Baruka acted as Baruka, Lakunle acted as the photographer, Sidi will still remain Sidi, and the girls were the village people that were in Mary. And in the noon, Lakunle Sidi Sadiku meeting. Sadiku had gotten information from Sidi, and Sadiku had rushed to where this scene actually took place. Noon took place on the road by the market. So when the moment Sadiku got there, Sadiku already know the kind of person Lakunle is. Lakunle became again the perfect representation of a laughing stock that he has always been to the people of Ilujinle. But Lakunle seems unbothered. He also seems to understand the kind of person that Sadiku is. Sadiku is actually a woman. So when you look at the name in context to our environment there, you might think that Sadiku should be a male. Sadiku is a female, and Baruka inherited her. Sadiku was the last wife of Baruka's father. So Baruka inherited her from his late father. And when Sadiku informed Sidi that the ballet had invited you to come for supper, she refused. She refused. That she doesn't want to come for supper. That the ballet discovered now that she is popular and this and that. That no, she's not coming for any little supper. And Sidi replied, that's on page 23, that tell your Lord that Sidi does not sup with married men. Sadiku had to leave and go back to feed to give Baruka a feedback. Be paying close attention to this. So it was only then when when Sadiku gave the news. It was then when Sadiku gave the news that immediately Baruka devised the means of, okay, let me tell you the truth, Sadiku, I'm no longer potent. I think by having CD, a virgin, and a young lady, I might be able to revive my manhood. Mm-hmm. And luckily, through the use of flashback prior to that, I'd acted the mime of the surveyor. Mm-hmm. The surveyor that has been charged with the responsibility of building a rail line through the town. Mm-hmm. And how Baroka came in. And how Baroka came in with money, coops of hen, kola nuts, wad of currency notes, and the likes in a bowl, just to bribe the surveyor, and the surveyor had to leave, saying that they are walking in the wrong direction, and they had to leave the town. So still in the known, immediately Baroka confesses to Sadiku. Sadiku rushed back again to tell CD that, oh, this is what had happened, though. The man is no longer potent, his manhood is gone, blah, stuff like that. Then in the night, and that's the last part as regards the time setting, in the night, Sadiku reveals Baroka's assumed weakness. So it happened at the village center. Sidi was standing by the schoolroom window and looks at our photograph, that is the magazine, with contentment. She no longer has interest in neither Baroka nor Olakunle. The beauty had gotten into her head. It had gotten into her head, and she believes she deserves better. Getting to hear of Baroka's assumed weakness, sexual weakness rather, she decided to pay him a visit. She went there and met the Bale, that is Baroka, wrestling. Baroka was wrestling, and there is an element that is called foregrounding. You might be asked to discuss the use of foregrounding in the text or in the play. Foregrounding is when you use an event, when an action pre-informs us about what will eventually take place or what will eventually happen in a text. That is what foregrounding is. So there is, during the bout, while Baroka was wrestling with his wrestler, we can see at the initial stage that the wrestler had an edge over Baroka. But with the arrival of Sidi greeting and walking through the ballet's through the ballet's house, only to get to the place where the ballet is wrestling without being accustomed by anyone or challenged or attended to by anyone. So there was a shift. Probably this motivated the ballet, and he was able to should I say, counter-attack or devise another tactical means of winning, the challenge. So by winning this wrestling bout, it foregrounded that Baroka will be the one to eventually win Sidi's hand in marriage. So we can say that the wrestler represents Lakunle. I believe you get that the wrestler represents Lakunle, and after a long tussle, after a long wrestling match, battle for the person that will win the hands of CD, it eventually comes to limelight. Oh, sorry. It eventually comes to limelight that it is Baruka that will eventually do. And last week, I remember I gave us an assignment, but I said that it will not be marked assignment. I said that we should look at the text holistically. We should look at the test lion and the jewel holistically, and we should decide who the main character, who the main or major, who the main character is in the lion and the jewel, and we should give our reasons. Who the main character in the text is, and we should give our reasons. Now, if there's anyone who did that and would want me to run through, there's no problem. You can submit through any of the coordinator. I would run through. Now, I want you to pick something again. Something most students always fail to recognize in literature questions. There are some questions that are direct. There are some questions that in one single question, you might be asked 2, 3, or more things. There are some questions you will be asked for your position, and it is your position that would serve as a response, that will serve as an answer. Now, take a look at this. Indeed, take a look at this question. Indeed, tradition deserves to win over modernity. Tradition deserves to win over modernity in the lion and the jewel. That's a position. Then the question is now, why? Does tradition deserve to win over modernity? Then you would answer. Or justify the title of Soyinka's The Lion and the Jewel. We all know who the lion is, and we all know who the jewel is. If you want to answer this question, I would prefer a question like this. I would prefer if you don't indicate. Well, it depends on your choice. It depends on your choice and how you are able to cook up your facts. It depends. But left to me, I'm yet to see, but I would appreciate a student that that tells me from outset that the lion, the jewel is not a contended role. CD is the jewel, but the lion is a contended role. Lak only happens to be a lion in his own academic world. Baruka happens to be a lion in the what? In the affairs and administration of the town. And after a tussle and a long time challenge, it was Baruka that was able to establish his position as the lion. And as regards questions that I say, in a single question, you might be asked 3 different things or 2 different things. Now look at this question. It says, would you hold the view that Sadiku is double-faced or simply a plain naive woman? Would you hold the view if someone is double-faced, that is, the person is not loyal? This is another challenge that literature students do face. Questions that they tend to flee from. Questions that they tend to flee from, that they always, or that they fail to attempt, are always simple. But because of the vocabulary that or the way the question is being asked, they tend to run away from it. Now, moving further, we have less than 15 minutes. I will quickly, I will quickly look at the playwright style. We can see the poetic use of language. Poetic use of word is one thing you should focus on. You can see the creativity in language use. In fact, when you read this text, you need to, if you are not the type that is very good, if you are not the type that is very good with language, there will always be the need for you to read it more than once. Then two, another playwright style that you should look at is allusion. It is said the Lion and the Jewel itself is an allusion to another text titled "This Is Our Chance." And "This Is Our Chance" was a play scripted in 1945 and published in 1956. So the book was written by Enshaw. So in that text, there is also another enigmatic village school teacher. That is a village school teacher that is the talk of the town, and who also always speak should I say bombastic English, that kind of English, big English like that of Obayagban and the likes. So the text is regarded as an allusion to, and ensures this is our chance. Also, another thing you should notice, mime as flashbacks. So altogether now there are like 3-4 mimes in the text, and you can be asked to talk about this mime, talk about this mime and their significance. And so definitely you've been told that all the mime in this text served as flashback. Another peculiar thing you should know about this playwright style is the concept of time, morning, noon, and night. Unlike what you've been used to, unlike what you've been familiar to, that the partitioning of drama text is always in act and structures, but that is not the case with Soyinka's stylistics. He had decided to write in 3 temporal times, that is morning, noon, and night. So all the events in the text took place in just a single day, and it is the brevity of this text. It is the brevity of the text, that is the shortness, the conciseness, that makes it more interesting, that brings the comedy out. And through the flashbacks, the comedy is being explored. And also, besides that, the major thing, the major problems, the realistic situation of our nation is revealed. Soyinka used the surveyor scene to portray or to depict corruption that is prevailing in the land. You can pay bribe, pay cola to avoid things, or to maneuver things. Another thing that you can never take away from African plays is the use of dances and songs. So you need to understand the use of, and the songs are mostly in Yoruba. You can see the Amudaelebelaya it's a popular Yoruba song. Nijo Itoro Amudaelebelaya, it's a popular song by prisoners. So prisoners use these songs when they are working. When they are just like the normal morale song that people sing around when they engage themselves in strenuous activities. And also, I think towards the end of the play too, during the wrestling bouts, Sidi herself sang. And even when the ballet won, she was seen shouting that you won, you won. And the Yokolu Yokolu song too, Yokolu Yokolu. These are Yoruba songs that, and those among you who are able to make references to this song, comment on this use of dances and songs in the text. If you are able to make references to these songs and you are able to interpret and tell us the meaning in English, then we will take it that you understand. Then the suspense and surprise too. Eventually win CD's hand in what? Win CD's hand in marriage. No one would believe that. And by another element of surprise is Baruka tricking them. He actually took not just Sadiku by surprise, he took both Sadiku and Sidi by surprise. It was only Lakunle and who wasn't taken by the surprise. He knew that the ballet might be up to something. And the use of irony too. Wow. The use of irony in the text cannot also be underemphasized. And we all know what irony is. Rather, we all know what irony is. Irony is the use of words or situation with humorous or satirical objective in mind. We know that when you want an outcome which is directly opposite to what is being said or what is being expected rather. So ironies definitely you must find them in comedies, in comic plays. So irony is the bedrock of the play. That the old man Baruka would snatch a young girl. It is an irony. And also we should realize that CD also mistakes our publicized beauty as evidence of sorry for that, as evidence of power. And instead it makes the jewel more attractive. So beauty is not actually strength. There are two metaphors that showed this. You can see Baruka, Sidi, when she said, I am the tinkle of a jewel, but he is what? He is the hind quarters of a lion. So lion remains an animal of power until it is dead. So you would discover that when a sitting lion is different from a lion that roars or a lion that pounces. When a lion is seated, when a lion stays alone, you won't know how deadly of an animal it is. So looking at Baruka from a distance, she was not able to fathom. She was not able to fathom what would be the outcome. What would be the outcome of his action? So on this note, I will leave you to 3 questions you can attempt on your own. But if at all there are questions you would want to ask as regards Lion and the Jewel, please kindly endeavor to forward. Or if there are questions you've come across and you aren't quite sure of how to approach them, please go through Ms. Aisha or Mr. Sunday Jatau, and the questions will get to me. I'm yet to see anyone doing this, but should I take it that you understand the text? Or to know that you understand the text, let me leave you with two questions. Let me leave you with 2 or 3 questions. If you are able to attempt them, that means you have a good grasp of the text. One, it says, justify the fate that befalls Lakunle as the play is ending. Smart people will know the use of verb there and how the use of verb can affect the way the question is being interpreted. As the play is ending, not when the play has ended. I believe you understand that. Justify the fate that befalls Lakunle as the play is ending. With everything took place in a day, morning, noon, and night, as the play is ending, not after CD had lost her virginity and she is back in she is back to pack her things and eventually marry Baroka as the play is ending. If you are able to answer that, you are good. Now examine the dances and songs in the play and show how they project the Yoruba culture. And question 3, recall 4 instances in Lakunle's remark which portrays him as being no match to Baroka. Recall 4 instances in Lakunle's remark which portray him as being no match to Baroka. Now comment in full the time setting of morning, noon, and night in Wole Soyinka's Lion and the Jewel. And lastly, use Soyinka's play. I want you to take this question very well. Use Soyinka's play to signpost that power is superior to beauty and not vice versa, as CD had taught. Use Soyinka's play to signpost that power is superior to beauty and not vice versa, as CD had taught. I'll leave you on this note. If Mr. Jason would want to round up the recording now, but I see that we have 2 minutes left by my own watch, which might not be enough. But next week, I want you to be prepared. We will be treating an African poem. We'll be treating an African poem titled Reader of the Treasure Trove. Reader of the Treasure Trove. Reader, that is a thief. Treasure, something valuable. And so the treasure trove, something valuable. What steals? What takes the valuable things from us? And the reader of the treasure trove that is being discussed here would, by the time we read the poem, we will discover that the reader of the treasure trove is rage. Rage, that is anger, and the destructive power of rage, how it can cause havoc in a man's life, how anger can destroy things that are taking us some years, decades to build. A moment of anger, how it can how a moment of anger, being a reflex action, how a moment of anger can actually destroy the things that we build. So on this note, I think I'm safe to say, this is 3:30. I think I'm safe to say, oh, Mr. Jason, you want me to continue?
I think we should end it here. I'm having another meeting.
All right.
Yeah, but you are done with Wole Soyinka's what is it called? Play, right?
Lion and the Jewel. Yes, I am.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's good. Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you very much, sir.
Bye, sir.
Yeah, bye-bye.